Hello, leader. We're kicking off our summer with a new series. Each episode will be about life and leadership because it's no longer about work-life balance. Nope, that's a myth. Realistically, when you're leading a business and a team with a family and community obligations, it's more about work-life integration. So today, I'm kicking off the series with a behind-the-scenes look at how I influence my clients to take intentional time out of their businesses and away from those family commitments to complete important tasks that match their highest valued work as a leader. If you would like to carve out quality time, but you never seem to be able to do it, or you've had a few experiences with this, but it's far from being a routine for you, listen up so that you can recommit to it, but most importantly, actually follow through on it. Because leadership work is the work at your level of business ownership. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast, smart leadership for women who mean business. This show has been on air since 2018 to help women who own established brick-and-mortar businesses fix the people side of their business, so they can stop carrying payroll pressure, stop over-functioning as the default decision maker, and build a team that actually performs without burning anyone out or damaging their reputation. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. My entire career has been built on leadership coaching, team development, and creating accountable, productive cultures inside real workplaces. Over here, we don't just talk about leadership, we live it. This isn't online leadership theory, academic research, or HR speak. The work we do here is grounded in real teams, real workplaces, and real consequences. Each episode delivers practical, no-fluff strategies to help you lead a team that can carry the business forward with you, not on your back. And I'll say it again, the team that got you here might not be the team that gets you there. Let's go. Welcome back to Stacking Your Team, the podcast for women who own established service-based businesses and who are ready to step fully into leadership. I'm so glad you're here. A few weeks ago, I hosted our annual client in-person retreat in Canada. More specifically, at a lovely property located in a quaint little village designed to pull my clients out of their normal routine. It's intentional time to connect with their peers, learn from each other, share stories and experiences, and create a plan for their next big shift within their team. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen some videos highlighting this wonderful location and some of the behind the scenes at that event. This retreat was focused on performance management and the framework, strategies, and methods to turn poor performance around while also providing a quality annual performance review for each team member, with separate planning and execution for an annual compensation review for each team member. That's what we did. Now, I'm always reinforcing with my clients that performance reviews and compensation reviews are two separate activities. Two separate activities. Because too many business owners think that these are supposed to be done together. No, my clients quickly learn why and how to keep these big decisions spread out throughout the year, and how by adopting this leadership strategy, you're easing the entitlement, the miscommunication, and the drama that can develop on your team, and instead offer structure, predictability, and clarity. Another very important aspect of hosting these retreats is to reinforce the value in carving out undistracted time to focus on building your leadership skills and doing leadership work. Now, most business owners, they don't honor this level of work, and they find themselves scrambling or tucking moments of time into the fringe hours when they've already put in a solid day in their business and they truly don't have the energy for it. So they deflect, delay, and diminish the importance of this work that can include data mining, deep planning, looking at your numbers, mapping out schedules, forecasting growth, educating yourself on trends, probably documenting some procedures and decisions, and generally addressing tasks that have been eating away at you, that you know darn well need your attention, but you never seem to be able to make the time for it. So having the quiet time to let ideas cook, having that open headspace to allow for those big aha moments, to move in, to provide that clarity for what your next steps will be, and then being able to close the loop on something always helps you feel accomplished and on top of it all, instead of behind and overwhelmed and questioning your capability. When you set aside time for these high-value tasks and decision-making, it always affects your mood, your sleep, and even your appetite. So, are you ready to accept the fact that leadership work is real work? Not the leftover stuff, not the if I have time to do it, and not work squeezed in after everyone else gets what they need from you. Today, I want to pull back the curtain and share exactly what my clients are doing to protect their leadership time, even while running busy, service-based businesses with real teams, real clients, and real daily demands. Because if you keep waiting for leadership time to magically appear, you'll stay trapped in reactive mode forever. One of the biggest mindset shifts my clients make is realizing that leadership tasks are not distractions from your real job. No way, far from it. This is your real job, especially once you have a team. And I think this is where many established business owners get stuck. They still subconsciously measure productivity by how many appointments they personally handled, how many emails they answered, how many fires they put out, and how busy they felt at the end of the day. Meanwhile, the work that would actually move the business forward keeps getting postponed. Things like performance management, compensation planning, org structure, hiring decisions, reviewing those KPIs, strategic planning, systems improvements, developing leaders on your team, having those difficult conversations, and of course, fixing operational bottlenecks. And those unfinished leadership tasks become mental clutter. You can carry them around for weeks, sometimes months, and yes, sometimes even years. That constant mental load or mental clutter is exhausting. Now, what's interesting is that once clients begin making steady progress on their leadership work, they often describe feeling lighter almost immediately. Not because of all the problems disappeared overnight, but because they're no longer carrying around these unresolved decisions everywhere they go. It's their progress that reduces the pressure that they felt. Now, there are different ways that my clients protect their leadership time. So let's talk practically, because my clients, they don't do everything all in the same way. And there's no one perfect format, but there is intentionality. Now, some of my clients protect one leadership day per week. One leadership day per week. That's no clients, no appointments, no team interruptions, unless it's something absolutely urgent and no one else can handle it. Now, this day becomes designed for planning, reviewing metrics, looking at hiring, getting ready for performance reviews, planning for leadership team meetings, doing those strategic thinking, and also looking at process improvement. Now, some of my clients even physically leave their primary workspace. And they head off to either a library, a really nice hotel lobby, maybe a co-working space. Some people like to have this, really focused thinking time in a coffee shop. It's something about the smells and the sound and the traffic that kind of works for them. Others have another office location. So they may have multiple locations within their business, and one of those locations is quieter than the other, and they can tuck themselves away in there. Or some of my clients hit up a friend who has a lovely front porch and works from there. Now, why do they do this? Well, because environment matters. If you stay physically available, your team is just going to keep disrupting you. Now, some of my clients use leadership blocks. So what this would look like is a full day might feel impossible for them to tackle at first. So instead, they kind of go at it in this way. Some of them will protect a couple hours, like one day a week. Others will choose to have their leadership time be Friday afternoons. Others will choose like the first Monday of each month. Or some of them will do quarterly planning afternoons. But the key is consistency, not perfection. Now, I have some clients who create quarterly CEO retreats. And honestly, these can be game changers. I have clients who literally book themselves into a nearby hotel for 2 to 4 days. So they're away from the family and the community, but close enough so that if something wild and crazy happened at home, they could get there pretty quickly. So these CEO retreats, they're not a vacation. It's not a spa getaway. It's a focus leadership retreat. Now, some even start day one with a strategy session with me so that I can help kickstart the momentum and clarify exactly what they're going to be working on. So we'll map out what their priorities are, what are the big decisions that they want to make during this time. We'd also refresh our staffing concerns. And then I would remind her about different operational bottlenecks that she has that has been really draining on her. And we would clarify what truly deserves her attention during this CEO retreat. Because sometimes what business owners need most is help just sorting through the noise. Now, one thing that is certain for all of my clients, like something that they do really well, is they stop trying to hold all the information in their own head. So before CEO day or a leadership retreat, they often ask their team to preload information that they're going to need into a shared folder. So it could be things like putting a folder together that has all your KPIs for this last quarter, pull together and collate some client feedback, or there may be like a running document that lists different recurring issues that are happening on the team. And then there should also be some sort of like a parking lot Google Doc that has your wish list ideas. And essentially anything that you think you're going to need to be able to help you really create some momentum with the agenda that you've created for that CEO day or that CEO retreat. So even things like getting your meeting notes together from your previous leadership team meetings, even just having like financial snapshot data from your CPA or your bookkeeper will really help you feel accomplished because you won't spend your time routing around for information. You'll have it all right there at your fingertips. Now, this does two things. One, it maximizes your thinking time. And secondly, it teaches your team to participate in improving the business. Your team likely sees things that you don't, especially your frontline team members. So we want to get them really helping you by gathering together the data that you're going to need to be able to do a good job of pulling out of the business and focusing on some things that's really going to move the business forward. Now, another thing my clients do really well is they make leadership time visible and legitimate. Here's what I mean by that. They stop hiding it. So it's not a secret that they're doing a CEO day or they're going on a leadership retreat. They don't act apologetic about it. Instead, they communicate clearly. So they'll say things like, Thursday afternoons are my leadership planning time. I'll be unavailable unless there's an urgent operational issue. And I'm going to be working on next quarter staffing plan. Or I'm going to be reviewing some compensation structures. Or I'm going to be mapping out some operational improvements. Now, this is important because your team is watching what you do. And they're watching what you normalize. So if you constantly abandon leadership work for the second, someone interrupts you, your team learns that leadership work, it's just not that important. And here's what's fascinating. The more consistently business owners protect this time, the more their teams begin respecting it because consistency is what's building that credibility within you and your own personal leadership role. Now, here's an important point. Leadership time should not always be completely isolated. And here's what I mean by that. At certain stages in the business and throughout your year, it becomes incredibly valuable to intentionally invite a few key team members into portions of that leadership work. So they might not be there for the whole day with you, and they're not going to be in every meeting, and they're not going to be involved in every decision. But strategically, it might look like hosting quarterly planning meetings, doing KPI reviews, doing some workflow mapping with few people on your team that truly know what it takes daily in your operation. Even having compensation discussions, you'd want to pull in your team leaders to be able to kind of walk through that and get some clarity and validation on that. And then anytime you're going to be doing any kind of operational problem solving sessions, well, you're going to want people that are there that work in your operation. So why would you want to do this? Well, your team begins developing leadership thinking, right? We have to give them the opportunity and present experiences for them so that they can try this on and in a safe place with, all that psychological safety to be able to work through, how do I start thinking like a leader? What are the things that I need to really consider to be able to help the business grow? By inviting them into your CEO day or your CEO retreat, even for portions of that time, it really helps them uplevel their own leadership skills. And they'll stop only seeing their role and they'll start understanding how the business actually functions. And this is often where future leaders emerge. So you're going to start seeing people who think strategically, people who know how to prepare really well, people who contribute solutions, not just complaints and whining. You'll also see people who understand operational impact, even how their department or their profit center is impacting someone else's. And then you'll also see who on your team can think beyond themselves. And honestly, this is how many business owners finally stop feeling like they're carrying the weight of the business all alone. So before we wrap up this episode, let me caution you about something. Your leadership time should not become, here's the 47 overdue things I need to panic about right now. That just only defeats the purpose. What works better is entering your leadership time with a few meaningful priorities. So you want to think about what would be some major decisions that I need to make. Where is my operation feeling some friction? Like, where are the constraints? Where are the bottlenecks? Where are the things that are broken and people are hiding the fact that it's broken or something's being held together by, a vice grip? You're also going to want to think about strategic planning in terms of what's happening with my team. What should I be thinking about for promotions? Who's headed off for maternity leave? Who's getting married? What are all those life moments that are happening because they should be, and yet they're going to impact the business somehow? So let's get all those out on the table as well. And then you might also want to have a look at just your services themselves. Like, what is happening within the services? Does anything need to be sunsetted? Does anything need to be evolved? So you're going to want to use this time to really think about those leadership issues that are impacting you, your team, and the business, and the reputation, and the brand, and carve out those priorities. Not a list of 47 different things. It's really about, hey, at this CEO day that I'm going to have this week, I'm going to focus on these two things. That sounds very doable. You'll be able to do that, and then you'll feel incredibly accomplished. So in other words, try and theme your leadership work. So it's not an endless task list, because leadership time is meant to create clarity, not overwhelm you. And once you build in this leadership work structure, you'll start to see a significant shift in how you feel, because you'll be making significant moves to reduce your own level of burnout. And we all know that burnout is not always caused by working hard. Sometimes burnout comes from carrying too many unresolved decisions for too long. You know the feeling. Things are hanging around in your head, those conversations that you keep avoiding, knowing full well that some of your systems are just not working as you intended. You've got people issues. They're just lingering around. You're hoping that someday they'll just fix themselves. And if you have any uncertainty across your team, that can really pick away at you as well. So you want to make sure you're looking at operational chaos that you keep tolerating and put those things into themes so that you can tackle them at these CEO days. So it's having those ongoing unresolved decisions that just keep hanging around that drain you. But when owners begin regularly addressing the leadership work, they often regain energy, and surprisingly quickly, because momentum creates the relief. So if you've been telling yourself, I just don't have time for this leadership work, I want you to consider something. Protecting leadership time isn't selfish, and it sure as heck isn't an indulgence. It's one of the most responsible things a business owner can do. And the businesses that eventually become less dependent on the owner almost always have a leader who's made this shift first. you're the first to hear this news. Summer can be the perfect time to strengthen your leadership capacity and elevate the performance of your team. For many service-based businesses, schedules shift during the summer. Client cancellations increase, people delay getting started with you until the fall, and team members often have more space for professional development and deeper conversations that are hard to prioritize during the busy seasons. Because of that, I'm opening up a limited number of spots for leadership-intensive days for you, the business owners, and I'm opening up some custom virtual team workshops for your team this summer. These sessions are designed to help you use this slower season strategically, so you head into the fall with stronger leadership, clearer expectations, and a more capable team. So DM me on Instagram or LinkedIn for all the details. If today's episode helps you see your leadership in a new way, I'd love to hear about it. Come connect with me on Instagram, where I'm at Stacking Your Team, and tell me what's troubling you about your team right now. And hey, if you're tuning into this podcast because you work somewhere and you want to develop your leadership skills, I invite you to start following our sister company, Thousand Islands Leadership Consulting. Check us out on Instagram or LinkedIn so you can chart your course to the next level of leadership.
This is Ellie. Come back next Tuesday. My Mimi will have another episode for you.